Okay, and here's number 34 from 6.1. So let's go through this process. And again, we've got x minus 2y. So x is negative 1, and a negative times a negative would be positive, so it'll be plus 2. So negative 1 plus 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. Careful with my arithmetic. Now when x is negative 1, well, that's just going to be negative 1 because that's 0, so that's negative 1. 2 times 0 is 0. And then negative 1 minus negative 2 is, no, it's not, no, it should be minus 2, excuse me. So negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. And then negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5. Negative 1 minus 2 times 2 is 4. Because you can see the pattern, add or subtract 2, subtract 2, subtract 2. Okay? And then again, this is just going to be whatever the y is, so this is going to be negative 1, 0, 1, and 2, so those are always the same. When y is 0. I'm sorry, when x is 0. I was thinking of another, this one, these up here. When x is 0, this is going to be negative 2y, so this is going to be positive 2, excuse me. And this will be negative 2. And then this is going to be 0. This is going to be minus 2 times 2 would be negative 4. Negative 4, pardon me. Okay. Now that doesn't make sense because if you subtract 2, subtract 2, subtract 2. So there we go. So I just kind of do that as a check. And the last one, when x is 1, and this is going to be minus 2, be 1 plus 2 is 3. And this is just going to be 1 minus 0 is 1. And then 1 minus 2 is negative 1. And then 1 minus 4, because 2 times 2 is 4, so 1 minus 4 is negative 3. So subtract 2, subtract 2, subtract 2. So that looks like that's okay. All right? Okay, so let's try this now. So I'm going to be 1 at this point here, 1. One. Oh, that's not bad. Kind of losing it here. Okay. So negative 1, the slope is 1, so I got a nice diagonal line there. Okay, and then when it's negative 1, it's negative 1 at this point, so that's a nice easy one too. So negative 1, 0, it's negative 1. And at negative 1, 1, it's going to be negative 3. So we'll use a third here. So we'll go down 3/3 over 1/3, which is negative 3. That's basically how we're doing it. Down 3/3 over 1/3. Or negative 3/3 over 1/3, which is negative 3. This is what people have trouble with, is negative 5, but this little technique that we're coming up with here works pretty good because I go down fifths. Negative 5/5 over 1/5 is negative 5, so there we go. Pretty groovy. Okay. So that's pretty good. So you can see how they get steepest, not so steep, not so steep, going in the direction. Okay. And now at 0, negative 1, we've got a slope of 2. Now this is easy now because we just go to that 1/2 here. So that gives me a slope of 2. Up 2/2 over 1/2, see? And then the 0, our good old friend 0, we like that. And this is going to be negative 2. I can use the same 1/2 there, can't I? That's nice. Okay. And the next one is negative 4, so I'm going to have to go about 1/4. So I have to kind of eye that. This is a 1/2. Yeah, I did a pretty good job there. And that's going to be negative 4, so that's going to go like that. Not quite as steep as negative 5, but steeper than negative 3. Yeah, I don't know. I think something wrong here. That's not, that's, I don't think it should be like, there we go. What is this? This is negative 4. That's, negative 4 is pretty steep. Okay, we have a line to compare it with. That's why if there's a straight line here to be even hugging it closer, I guess. Okay, that's why it looks like this is steeper than that, but it's just because it's relative to that axis line. Okay, okay, those negative 5s and negative 4s are kind of tough. Now we're just going to be doing 3s, so that's not too bad. So first of all, at negative 1, my slope is 3. Let's put in a 2 here. Just put these values in. So my slope is 3, so I'm going to go 1/3. So I'm going to go by thirds, up 3/3 over 1/3, and that should give me a slope of positive 3. Like this. So that's about 1/3 of the way, so those would be my 2 guide points. And then the next one is a slope of 1. That's a nice easy one. This is 1. I can use those. That's piece of pie. Okay, and the next one is negative 1. So again, I got a nice guide point there. So there's my negative 1 slope. And the last one is negative 3, and negative 3 goes like that. So I got to go 1/3. So what I need to do is kind of bring this up a little bit like I did before in the other problems. So I'll bring that up a little bit there. And then I'll try to find this point here. So there was another point that would be there. And between these two, I want to go 1/3 of the way. So I can go down in thirds. Okay? And I can kind of erase that now. So I do pencil. Okay? Used to do that in drafting. Used to use little pencil lines, and then you use erasers, erase them, and then you'd have a little brush so you could brush away the eraser marks, and it wouldn't disturb your pencil. See, that's before they did drafting. They do it all on computer now, but in college when I took technical drawing, I really liked that where you did use little brushes and draw things. Okay, so there's a negative 3. Okay. And you can see a big difference between negative 1 and negative 3. But over here, you should be able to see this is negative 3, negative 4, and negative 5. See? Steep, steeper, steepest. Okay? So I think we've got a pretty good method here to really nail these things. All right? So I hope that helps. That's